I'm here.
Hello,
Can you hear
beautiful
me?
girl. All right, I'm so glad we're a minute, well, 1 minute before 1 o'clock. So let's wait 1 second.
We're
I can't
organised.
believe you did it. Go us. This is a really interesting one because what I normally do for my masculine and feminine polarity series, I interview men. But we thought, hang on a minute, we've got the soulful sessions that we often do together, Sula. And I thought, what a beautiful opportunity to actually get you into this conversation, because we speak about it so much, about relationships and the point of view from a woman and not just a man, and how a man needs to show up, but it's also how we, as not what we do wrong, but what we should be looking out for as well. So we've combined the just for people joining now, hello, we've just combined the masculine feminine polarity series with the soulful session series, and we're going to start talking about what is not the catalyst, but the warning signs of why a relationship ends, how the eventual clashes, why they manifest. So I wanted to introduce Sula Chamberlain, who I'm sure everyone knows, but just in case you don't know, Staranice Organic, I'll tag her below, owner and founder of Broth Bar and Larder, and one of my dearest friends. And we spent a lot of time talking about this stuff, so I'm sure everyone knows what we talk about anyway.
This is going to ruffle some feathers. Full disclosure, this will ruffle some feathers.
Yeah, that's actually, I never thought of that. Yes, so it's going to be about red flags and sort of putting the onus onto yourself around, were you so mesmerized by someone that you completely ignored the red flags? And as usual, Sula, you've beautifully laid things out, so we're going to talk about it from your point of view. Excuse the jumpy camera because I always talk with my hands. When I speak to my clients about this, they often tell me how the most giant red flags were airbrushed because of their need to meet their own human needs, and the brain has a tendency to amplify someone's positive traits and dismiss the negative ones.
Yeah.
I would also love to get your point of view and your experience with your clients and my clients alike about red flags.
Yeah. So really it's about doing your due diligence beforehand, before you enter into a relationship, and ideally before you're physically intimate with someone, because once a female opens herself up to physical intimacy, she has invested so much of herself already that she desperately wants it to work. And so that's why we tend to airbrush the red flag. So we're familiar with doing a due diligence when we're buying a house or a car, and we're on hyper alert for the things that go wrong, but we really should be doing it before we enter a relationship. And do you know what's really interesting, Sylvia, is that the reason why most relationships end will be because of the red flag that was experienced and ignored in the first few weeks of dating.
Yeah, it's like the it unravels.
Yes, the truth will out. So
so it's
important that we're hyper vigilant to the red flags. Don't settle, don't airbrush them.
Yeah, it's like the red flag is stiff. It's firm. There it is. We ignore it, but then it just comes back to bite us in the ass. So we've got some beautiful examples of this. So let's go, Sula, as you unpack things.
Yeah, and the examples are really, we want to be hyper vigilant to really the red flags that pertain to the things that are most important to a woman in relationship. And in general, a masculine's role in relationship is to provide, protect, and lead. And we also want him to be kind, intelligent, and aligned to our values. So those 6 things really go into the pot of making us feel safe. It's all about safety, because when we feel safe, our nervous system can relax, which then brings out our feminine essence, which in turn will bring out the best in the masculine. And in that container of safety, there's nothing you wouldn't do for him, and there's nothing he wouldn't do for you. You're working together in this really beautiful symbiotic relationship, and your energy feeds off each other in the best possible way, just like a tango. So let's unpack some examples that pertain to those things. So if we look at the first one, the feminine wants to feel that the masculine can provide, versus feeling that he is financially dependent upon you. So not that we can't provide for ourselves and we're not financially independent ourselves, and I think we can be and should be, because you never know what's going to happen in life. But the key is, can he provide? Is he going to be a good provider? And you know what is often a really, really good test for that? Is he offering to pay on the first date or any date? Is he offering to pay on the date? That's important. Not that because we want stuff for free and we can't pay for it ourselves, but it's a symbol that he's going to be a good provider. What it's saying when he offers to pay and takes the bill straight away is, I've got this. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to be a good provider. And then that in turn allows our nervous system to relax into our feminine. So
it's that I've got your back. And I like what you said around, it's not that we can't provide for ourselves, but if we're in that constant state of being harried, we're constantly in that in that masculine, in that slightly, that tense. If a tense meets a tense, there is no flow, there is no yin yang. So that's why when I'm in my masculine, when you meet a greater masculine, when that man starts to provide for you, that's when the physiology changes. That's when your nervous system can soften and you can receive.
Yeah, and you had an example of a client there and the coffee and the cake date.
Oh God, yeah.
Do you want to relate that?
Yeah, yeah. I think that was your one, wasn't it?
Mine.
Yeah,
well, yeah. She went out on a date and she ordered a coffee and a cake, and he said to her, I'll pay for your coffee, but you pay for your cake. Now, what's really interesting is that they ended up breaking up because of this issue of her not feeling safe in the relationship due to his scarcity mentality. She was just always in the provider mode.
But that was
that was there on the second date.
Yeah.
The second date, I'll pay for the coffee, you pay for your cake. And that doesn't mean, if you feel compelled from time to time to pay for things as a nice gesture over the course of dating and you want to, then go for it. But the point is, he should always offer to pay. That's a big red flag.
1,000, but circling back to that relationship, so the red flag was financial. It was in that provider role, and it failed because of the finances.
100%.
So again,
and she said the red flag was there from the start. I airbrushed it. Really wanted it to work. Yeah. And then should we talk about the protector? So the role of the masculine is to provide and protect. So the feminine wants to feel protected so that her nervous system can relax into her feminine. So we feel safe. We're protected by our man. That example when there's that huge throng, like a crowd of people, and there's like pandemonium starting, and that feeling when your man grabs your hand and leads you through the crowd, and it's like, I've got this, I'm leading, I'm protecting. It would be really weird if the female did that, right? 100%. So you had an example of your client's car breaking down.
Yeah, this was a doozy, and it was. I often ask now in our client sessions, especially if it's around the time of a breakup, I'll say, did you omit to see any red flags? And this one, she said, yes, I did, and it was when we were just starting the dating. So remember, in that first 2 years, it's that honeymoon period, right? Everything should be freaking erotic, exotic, and exciting because your limbic system shuts down and you just want to be in each other's energy. And her car broke down at about, I don't know, it was like really late at night, midnight, in like a dodgy area of Sydney. And she called him and said, holy shit, I've run out of petrol. I'm pulled up in the curb. It's a freaking scary area. I don't know what to do. And he said something along the lines of, hey, honey, you'll sort it out. Just go to a petrol station, maybe ask for some petrol or something. Click.
Wow. Ouch.
So she obviously she dealt with it, being a woman, resourceful, right? Dealt with it, put on her little masculine pants and dealt with it, got back to safety. But that relationship was, yes, they sort of had a fight when she went back and said that was a bit unfair, but all is forgiven. A day later, everything's back to normal. but that relationship ended up ending because the guy could not protect her in many examples going forward. It was that kind of, oh fuck, she'll be right. She'll be right.
Yeah. So her nervous system couldn't relax into her feminine because she was always on hyper alert that I have to protect myself. He's not going to be there when the shit hits the fan and my car's broken down in the cross. Yeah.
That relationship ended because she had to wear her masculine pants
all the
time, and those pants were so thick. Then the polarity flipped, and there was no more attraction, and it fizzled.
Yeah.
Case.
Yep. Yeah. So providing, protecting, and then there's leading. So once again, for our nervous system to relax into our feminine and feel safe, we need to feel that our man can lead us in relationship. And I have an example here, my own personal one, when I went overseas. And I said to my partner when we first landed overseas in the airport, I said, babe, on this trip, I want to be in my feminine. I would love you to take care of all the logistics, all the directions, the navigations. You take care of that. I will just follow. And he was completely incapable of being able to lead us from the airport to the airport hotel, despite all of the signs everywhere. And I actually felt, and it's never happened to me before, like a red flag so poignantly. It was like a full body adrenaline rush. It was like a powerful sign from the universe that this is a red flag that I shouldn't ignore. And I had to like then step into my masculine, take over the navigation, get us there. And then the whole trip, he couldn't get us to any of the major sites, couldn't read a map, looked like a lost child. I was constantly stepping back into my masculine to do all that. And then I thought to myself, well, how can he lead me in relationship? And I kind of just lost that level of confidence there. So that,
but it was also you also lost the charge. That's what we're talking about, the polarity. The magnet pulled. You lost the attraction immediately when you started to, extrapolate and think, going, how is this going to work if he can't even lead me in this one example? So yeah, that's beautiful.
So that's a red flag that I fortunately listened to. Yeah, and I think the more and more wiser and older and in tune with your physical, emotional, spiritual body you become, the more you can hear the red flags. They're there in the pit of our stomach. It's that intuition, which I believe is the most powerful force on the planet, a female intuition. But of course, in our 20s, or when we're pedestalizing someone, or when we've become physically intimate with someone, it's so easy to airbrush them.
Oh, yeah. I do have a question though, because I know we speak about it often, and I'd like you to share it. You have a bit of a rule around intimacy and in partnership. What is that one?
Oh yeah, my 2x2 rule. I didn't think we were going to discuss this, but well, okay. I haven't put it into practice yet, so this is like a theory. This is a theory only. So for the first 2 months, no physical intimacy. It's just due diligence, hanging out a lot, being friends, asking lots and lots of questions, observing, being curious. Because in those first 2 months, any real obvious red flags are going to come to the fore. And if you haven't been physically intimate, you're going to see them more poignantly. So for the first 2 months, and I know most people would think that is crazy in this day and age, but I really do believe that it takes that, good amount of eight or so weeks to really get to know someone. Any big obvious things like, misalignment on values is just going to, come up straight away. Then for the next 2 years, don't make any major life-changing decisions together. Don't move in, don't go into business together. Ideally, don't have kids together. Any of those big things. Because once you've done a big thing, once he's moved in, once you've gone into business with him, you've had a kid, once again, you are so emotionally invested, you just desperately want it to work. You've airbrushed the red flags. So that's my 2x2 rule. And looking forward to seeing it play out in practice.
No, you're right. But it's like for me, my understanding is once the intimacy happens as well, it's like this veil, falls upon you where you just can't see. You just can't, because the intimacy is there. You've got that hope, you've got that longing. Your needs are being met, obviously sexually, but then you extrapolate that into, this is perfect. This is perfect.
And in that 2-week period, if your alignment with values is a really important one for me. So this is one I can give, another example for me. recently, so if I value health and we go out on a date and he comes back and I can see he's high on coke or he's abusing alcohol, well, then that's straight away like, you know, this isn't going to work. Or, you know, the guy on Saturday night, he said to me, you know, admitted that he'd been back 37 times in 4 years. And I'm like, mazel tov, you know, great, ticking time bomb. So,
Well,
you know, yeah. And, you know, one of my health coaching clients who values health and values physical and sexual embodiment, she said that her partner admitted to her when they first met that he didn't like having sex. And instead of being curious about that and asking why, she airbrushed it because she pedestalized him. This guy's perfect. This is it. He's the one. And what is really interesting is that they ended up breaking up a year or so later because of a lack of physical intimacy. So in hindsight, what she should have said is when he said, I don't like having sex, that's interesting. A hot-blooded man would naturally want to ravish his new partner as a normal and natural expression of his love and devotion to her. Tell me more. You know, be really curious rather than, oh, no, that's because you haven't had the right chemistry with the people in the past. Our chemistry is different. It's going to be fine. You're going to love having sex with me, you know. So
fix that. I can fix that because
yeah. So we don't want to project, right? I don't know about you, but I don't want to project.
Oh, and you certainly don't want like a wounded project when you've just come out of your own work and you're ready to not to settle, but you're ready to have this incredible partner. And is it really a project or is it someone that matches you? Are they worthy of me? Not am I worthy of them? They have to be worthy of me. I can work. Here I am, ready to give. Show me, give me evidence that you're worthy of me.
Exactly. It's like if you want queen energy, a queen doesn't just let anybody into her inner sanctum, into her bedroom. It's got to be like fit for a king. It's got to be like, let's do the due diligence. Let's see. Let's be curious. So, you know, it's observing the words and the actions. It's asking lots of questions when dating, and don't be in a rush to be physically intimate because then the red flags are airbrushed. And so, for me, you know, a lot of people find it interesting. You know, I'm now confidently saying I am celibate outside the context of a deeply committed and devoted relationship, and that's where it's at.
You mentioned one more earlier on, which is kindness. It's not
kindness. I mean, and doesn't kindness sound so boring? Like it's such a boring adjective, kind. But you know what? I have learned in my 51 years that being kind is so important in relationship. So the red flag here is when you raise an issue, is he combative and defensive, or is he receptive and cooperative? So my ex-partner, who I was with for, you know, a very long time, was so career-driven and ruthless. I'm an excellent provider, but so career-driven and ruthless to the point of constantly picking fights with me, with others, and reducing people, even women, to tears to prove his point. And I was constantly apologizing to people he had interactions with on his behalf. He would leave like what I would call this trail of devastation in his wake. He would rather be right than be kind. And so my nervous system, I was on hyper alert when he was around, and that is hardly a conducive environment for me to feel safe and to relax into my feminine. And being kind, I think, also embraces observing how does he react when adversity strikes. So if a waiter makes a mistake, or if a flight is cancelled, or here's a good one, put him in front of a really, really slow internet connection and see how he responds. Is he going to be gracious and kind, or does he lose his shit? Because you know what? Life isn't always rainbows and unicorns. There is going to be adversity. There's going to be the trials, and you want to see how does he respond to that. Is he going to be kind? Is he going to be gracious?
Yeah, and that also is a good one in traffic. If you're in a car with someone and he's driving, and watch them drive. And are they those really feral, angry, rage, reverse their 5-year-old or 15-year-old masculine or child, or are they like, you know what?
Yes. Go around. You're having a bad day.
Yeah. And they've obviously got bigger issues, more rage, more things.
because that
do.
is the symbol of a bigger issue. Like, how is he going to respond in life when the shit really does hit the fan? It's just a symbol of the way he responds generally.
Let's just add that as number 7. How they drive a car. I
Yeah.
think it's
Yeah.
and when you mentioned about kindness, would you say that that one broke up because of the lack of kindness?
I think so, yeah. I mean, and also misaligned with values. But yes, I mean, ticked, you know, the providing box, the protecting, the leading, but misalignment with values and being kind. And I think what is, as a single female, being really clear on all the things you want, actually writing them out, because when you write something out, it magnifies and amplifies the intention, being articulate about, being really clear on all the things that you want in a person. So gather the, you know, the best qualities and traits in all your relationships and being clear on that, and do not settle.
And don't airbrush. Yeah, that's beautiful. Has anyone in that's with us got an example of a red flag that maybe a relationship broke up? If you reflect back, what was that very first red flag, and how did you break up, and was it the same thing? Was it the same basis? I'm super curious whether it was just our experience or just experience that we've had with clients or not.
Someone's saying great advice. Thank you, ladies. This is much needed.
Okay, so the summary here, you spoke a lot about to observe their actions, ask questions. I'm adding, jump in the car with them. Think of it like a playful business deal. Like you can't go in there with your analytical mind, right? And go, because then you won't be attractive if you're going in there, checking boxes and doing it from that masculine energy. You're doing it from that feminine, playful lightness. It's like a Q&A, but it's interactive, it's engaging, it's fun. Seeing where you guys, match or don't match. If you find that there is a red flag, another question to ask is, if this red flag was amplified 100-fold in 5 years' time, could I handle it? Is that something I could tolerate? Whether it's a financial thing, a protection thing, a lead thing, or is it something that, this guy is so foundationally amazing on this 80% that this 20% thing won't matter? It's a hard question, but probably it will matter. But
ask your intuition, like feel into your body. Like when I'm out on a date, I'm sort of listening in. What is my head saying? What's going on in my head at the moment? Like, listen to your intuition, your body, like, because that first reaction is often the right one, that intuition.
Yes. So that's when you're connecting your heart brain. Absolutely. Yeah. Heart brain. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other thing I wanted to say is, when a relationship ends or dating ends, don't think of it as a failure. I hate that expression, a failed relationship. There is no such thing as a failed relationship. It's just not the right fit. So just say when you try on a pair of shoes in a shop and they don't fit, you don't go, these are a failure. You don't call shoes a failure. You say they're not the right fit. There are other shoes that are better fit. So nothing is a failure. It's all stepping stones on the path to manifesting your king.
Oh, this is lovely. Thank you. I'm struggling post breakup and lots of self-blame. Yeah, beautiful. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah, it's not about the blaming. Yeah, definitely. Blaming is not the answer. Blaming self or blaming someone else. It's just reflection. And what I can learn from this, what is the learning in this relationship? What can I do differently? And going into the next relationship, it's super important. Are they worthy of my energy? Are they worthy of my time? Give me this is what I'm after. This is the feedback I'm after when I'm on a date. Are they worthy of me? Not how can I prove myself to them? How can I impress them? That automatically means you're pedestalizing, which unfortunately most pedestalized relationships fail as well. That's a completely different conversation. I really want to throw that in though.
Yes. Well, pedestalization is just like being physically intimate with someone. You will more likely airbrush the red flags if you pedestalize someone in the same way you will when you're physically intimate with someone, because you've invested so much.
Yeah, absolutely. And pedestalizing starts when you're attracted to someone because you think they've got something that you don't have, or you're not capable of getting or having. Whether it's money, I'm capable of whatever, making lot of money, so I'm super attracted to this extremely wealthy man, but you're discounting the fact that actually he is not kind, he actually is abusive, the way he treats his mother or the way he talks about his ex-girlfriend or his ex-wife is absolutely awful. Guess what that will lead to if you don't sort it out.
And in that example you just gave, you're entering into that relationship out of fear because you have a scarcity mentality. Yes. So this was me in my early 20s. I need to find a wealthy, career-driven man because one day I, can have babies and I need that. Any relationship that you enter into out of fear has an expiry date.
Absolutely. Agree, 1,000%. Anything to add for the summary? Anyone else have any
questions? Someone has said a good reframe. Ready? Are they ready for my pure love and energy? Yes.
That's lovely.
Yes. You are enough. Are they ready? Are they worthy? Are they worthy? Yeah.
I've done the work. You show me that you've done yours, and let's see if we can ignite. Yeah. That's good. And have anything to add before we close up? There will be part 2. This is a hot topic, really, really hot topic. So what I'm offering for anyone that's interested is my little masculine and feminine document where I list out the traits. There's also wounded masculine and wounded feminine that we don't talk about often enough. So if you're fully in your wounded feminine, you'll be attracting a wounded masculine. Really important to know what that actually looks like. And also a free 45-minute session only in October though, because I'm really November. If you're interested to see why you might be feeling unsafe in your nervous system, what's going on in your subconscious mind, why you're attracting the same type of person, whether it's a narcissist or an abusive or whoever, what part of you is yet unhealed and therefore attracting that's something that we could cover. So I'd like to offer that. I'll link it in the bio below. But Sula, how can, if people don't know you, how can they get to you?
On my Instagram, Star Anise Organic, and my website, staranesorganic.com. I'm a health coach, founder of a retail store, Star Anise Organic Whole Foods, and an online store, and super passionate low tox advocate and help women step into a more nourishing and conscious and intentional life and reduce the toxicity in your life to make you more in tune with your body. Okay, and that will make you more hypervigilant to the red flags. Yeah, when you step into your intuition more and more, when your vessel is cleaner. So I do think the physical work is important because when you have a cleaner vessel, it makes the emotional and the spiritual work so much easier.
Well, that's why we call it mind, body, spirit, right? It's cleaning out of all three. I do have one more question though.
Someone does too. Yeah, but you go first.
We don't lead initial conversations on dates, or is that okay to do?
We don't lead. We don't ask people out on dates. No, we let them do that. You're receptive.
So the question is, when you're on a date, would you be leading the conversation? That's the question.
I think it's okay to ask someone lots of questions as a way of being interested in them. It shows an interest in the other person. A red flag for me is if he doesn't ask a single question about me, he's not interested in me.
Good answer.
But I wouldn't ask him. I would wait for him to ask, ask and initiate the date, and then I'm receptive. It's like, let the universe bring forward the opportunity and you say yes or no. You just evaluate. Let the opportunity come to you. You attract it. I wouldn't ask a man out on a date personally.
No, neither would I. This is really, really good point, Harmony, natural living. Are the red flags worse than leaving the time and energy I've committed is such a big and common one? Well said. Look at all the time I've invested. Oh my God, as if I'm going to play, looking for another relationship. Oh, I may as well just try and ignore.
And in economic terms, when I studied commerce, it was like, we call it a sunk cost. Don't throw good money after bad. Just because you've invested X millions of dollars in an investment doesn't mean you've got to stay in it if it's not going to be fruitful.
And we can also say in economics, we can also talk about it as opportunity cost. You're with this guy in lieu of being with the 400 other men that
are working. So you get really quick. Like, it took me 17 years to actually just, think about and act on the red flag. So now it's just like 1 date, 2 dates done. It's like, next.
comes with that sage essence. That also comes with that, you know, with that
Yeah.
hormonal shift, with the age, with the knowledge, with the self-worth. And I think if you do not have self-worth, you will keep attracting what you've always attracted, because that is what your nervous system is used to.
Yep.
That simple. Got to do the
So
work.
bring forward the kings is what I say.
Yeah. Well, queens, as we're healing, the but I hope the kings are healing as well, because we need to healed. We need sacred feminine attracting sacred masculine. Thank you. Any other questions? Otherwise, it's been half an hour. Thank you so much for joining. Any questions, drop them in comments or also on the Instagram pages of Sarah Denise Organic and myself, Just Be Whole.
Thanks, beautiful.
Thank you.
See you this weekend.